The most terrifying thing you will ever discover is that you are not one person. You are two. And the reason you are tired, the reason you are broke, the reason you are anxious is because those two versions of you are currently in a death match for control of your mind. You think you are fighting the world. You think the economy, the algorithm, your boss, or your ex is the reason you are stuck. You are lying to yourself. If you took away every external obstacle today, gave yourself the money, the time, the resources, you would still find a way to destroy it. Because the enemy is not out there. The enemy is in the mirror. There's a version of you that wants to build an empire. And there's a version of you that wants to burn it down just to feel the warmth of the fire. You have felt this. The moment you decide to change your life, a second voice speaks up. It whispers. It seduces. It convinces you to sleep in, to skip the workate, to send that text you shouldn't send, to sabotage your own progress just as you are about to break through. This is not laziness. This is not lack of motivation. This is an active malicious force living inside your nervous system. The ancients called it the demon. Stephen Pressfield calls it resistance. Jung called it the shadow. Whatever you name it, understand this. It wants you dead, not physically dead. That would be too easy. It wants you spiritually dead. It wants you mediocre. It wants you quiet. Today, we are going to expose this traitor. We are going to look at the psychological warfare happening inside your skull. And I am going to show you how to win the only war that actually matters. Because if you lose this fight, nothing else you achieve will last. But if you win it, you win everything. Most people live their entire lives as hostages to their own psychology. They die without ever meeting the person they could have been. Do not be one of them. To defeat the enemy, you must map the battlefield. And the battlefield is your own identity. Sigmund Freud gave us a map, but he was too polite about it. He talked about the ID, the ego, and the superego. Let's strip the academic language and look at the brutal reality of what is happening inside you right now. You are a house divided. Inside your head, there are three distinct entities fighting for the steering wheel of your life. First, there is a beast. This is your biology, the ID. It is millions of years old. It does not care about your future. It does not care about your legacy. It cares about three things: safety, pleasure, energy, conservation. The beast wants you to eat the sugar. It wants you to watch the pornography. It wants you to stay in bed. When you feel that overwhelming magnetic pull to procrastinate, that is not you. That is the beast hijacking your motor functions. It is a survival mechanism gone wrong in a modern world. It sees hard work as a threat to its calorie reserves. It sees social risk as a threat to its survival. It is primitive, it is powerful, and it is relentless. Second, there is a judge. This is a superego. This is the voice of your father, your teachers, society. It is a part of you that screams when you mess up. It uses guilt as a weapon. It tells you that you are worthless, that you are behind, that you should be ashamed. Most men think the judge is their friend because it pushes them. It is not your friend. It is a tyrant. It paralyzes you with perfectionism. It tells you if you can't do it perfectly, don't do it at all. The judge is the reason you freeze. And then trapped in the middle is a hostage, the ego, the conscious you. You are the one waking up every morning bruised and battered, trying to navigate between a beast that want to drug you with dopamine and a judge that want to execute you for being lazy. This internal civil war is what exhausts you. You are tired, not because you worked hard, but because you spent 12 hours fighting yourself. You spent all your energy negotiating with terrorists inside your own head. Just 5 more minutes. I'll start on Monday. Who am I to try this? Stop negotiating. You cannot reason with a terrorist. You cannot use logic on the beast because it doesn't speak logic. It speaks sensation. And you cannot satisfy the judge because its standards are impossible. The only way out is a coup d'etat. You must stop being a hostage and become the dictator of your own internal state. The dictator does not negotiate with impulses. He crushes them. When the beast says I'm tired, the dictator says irrelevant. When the judge says you're not ready, the dictator says silence. You must associate your identity from these voices. You are not the voice that wants to quit. You are the one listening to it. The moment you realize that the urge to quit is just a physiological sensation, a chemical wave passing through your body, you strip it of its power. Watch the urge rise. Name it. There is the beast. and then do the work anyway. This is how you kill the sply. T. You starve the voices by refusing to feed them your attention. Here is a dark truth that might hurt. You are not happy because on a deep subconscious level you don't want to be. You are addicted to your own suffering. It sounds insane. Why would anyone choose pain? Why would anyone choose to be broke, lonely, or out of shape? Because suffering is safe. Because suffering is familiar. Because as long as you are the victim of your own life, you don't have to be responsible for it. Viktor Frankl, who survived the Nazi concentration camps, found that the last human freedom is the ability to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. But most people reject that freedom. Freedom is terrifying. Freedom means there is no one left to blame. If you admit that you are the architect of your own misery, then you have to admit that you have wasted years of your life building a prison and locking yourself inside. That realization is so painful that your ego will fight to the death to avoid it. So you self-sabotage. This is why you pick fights with your partner when things are going well. This is why you spend money you don't have when you finally start saving. This is why you binge eat the moment you start seeing abs in the mirror. You are hitting your upper limit. Gay Hendricks describes this phenomenon as a thermostat. You have a setting for how much happiness, wealth, and love you believe you deserve. Let's say your thermostat is set to 70 degrees. If your life starts going really well, you get a promotion, you fall in love, and the temperature hits 80 degrees, your internal alarm goes off. This is too good. This isn't me. Something bad is about to happen. So, you subconsciously turn on the air conditioning. You create a crisis. You destroy the peace to bring the temperature back down to the familiar 70 degrees. You return to the baseline of misery that feels like home. You have to break the thermostat. You have to be willing to feel the anxiety of things going right. When life gets good, you will feel a frantic urge to ruin it. That urge is your ego trying to pull you back to safety. Recognize it when you are winning and you feel that it's to self-destruct. That is the moment of the test. That is the you versus you fight. The old version of you is dying and it is trying to take you down with it. Do not let it stand in the heat of your success and refuse to cool it down. Stephen Pressfield wrote The War of Art to explain a single concept: resistance. Resistance is not a metaphor. You need to view it as a physical force of nature like gravity. Resistance has one objective: to prevent you from doing your work, to prevent you from evolving from the lower plane to the higher plane. And here is the rule of physics you must learn. Resistance is directly proportional to the importance of the task. If you want to watch Netflix, you feel zero resistance. If you want to eat a pizza, zero resistance. But if you want to write a book, if you want to launch a business, if you want to have a difficult conversation that will heal a relationship, the resistance will be massive. It will feel like a physical weight on your chest. This is the compass. Most people feel fear and think, I shouldn't do this. This feels wrong. The outlier feels fear and thinks, this must be the path. The fear is the indicator. The more scared you are of a specific action, the more important that action is to your evolution. The resistance is trying to stop you because it knows that action will kill the old you. You have to flip your relationship with this feeling. Amateurs wait for the fear to go away. They wait for inspiration. They wait to feel ready. Pros know that the fear never goes away. The fear is the fuel. David Goggins talks about the cookie jar, but deeper than that is his concept of the governor. Your brain has a governor like a car engine that limits how fast you can go. It stops you at 40% of your potential to prevent you from hurting yourself. When you feel pain, when you feel I can't do this anymore, you are only at 40%. Resistance is a governor. The fight of you versus you is a fight to push past the 40%. When your brain screams stop, that is not a red light. That is a yellow light. It means proceed with caution, but proceed. Start looking at resistance as a distinct entity. When you wake up and don't want to work, say, hello, resistance. I see you're awake early today. Externalize it. Make it an opponent. You cannot box a shadow, but if you give it a name, if you give it a shape, you can punch it in the face. Every day you do the work despite the resistance. You are landing a blow. You are rewiring the neural pathways. You are teaching the beast that it is no longer in charge. Carl Jung introduced the shadow, the dark, repressed side of your personality. The parts of you that you are ashamed of, your aggression, your greed, your cruelty, your weird sexual fantasies. Society tells you to hide the shadow, to be a nice guy, to be polite. This is why you are weak. A man who has no capacity for evil is not good. He is harmless. And harmless men are not capable of conquering themselves or the world. Jordan Peterson famously said, "You should be a monster and then you should be a civilized monster." The fight of you versus you is not about killing the monster. It is about chaining him to a sled and making him pull. You are exhausted because you are using all your energy to suppress your dark side. You are trying to be a saint. Stop it. You have a dark side. You have a drive for power. You have a drive for dominance. You have anger. If you repress it, it will come out as passive aggression, resentment, and self-sabotage. If you integrate it, it becomes fuel. Use your anger. When you are fighting the internal war, do not try to be mindful and gentle. Get angry at your own mediocrity. Look in the mirror and get furious at the wasted potential. Anger is a high-energy state. Apathy is a low-energy state. You can move from anger. You cannot move from apathy. Make a contract with your shadow. I will give you what you want. Status, power, resources, but you have to work for it. We are not going to steal it. We are not going to manipulate for it. We are going to build it. Harness the aggression of the ID and channel it through the discipline of the ego. This is called sublimation. It is the alchemy of turning base impulses into gold. The most successful men in history were not nice men. They were dangerous men who had their danger under control. Be dangerous to your own excuses. Be ruthless with your own weakness. When that voice says, "Take a break," you need the monster to wake up and say, "No, you cannot win a violent war with a peaceful mind." And make no mistake, the battle for your potential is violent. It is a slaughter of the old self. There is a poison you drink every day. It tastes sweet, but it rots your organs. That poison is hope. You hope things will get better. You hope you'll feel motivated tomorrow. You hope the market changes. You hope she comes back. Hope is the beggar's strategy. Hope is a passive state. It assumes that an external force will come and save you. I hope I win. No. In the war of you versus you, hope is treason. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor of Rome, didn't hope the Germanic tribes would go away. He marched the legions north and waged war for years in the mud and freezing rain. He wrote Meditations not as a book of peace, but as a manual for staying sane inside a nightmare. He stripped away the delusion of hope. Ambition means tying your well-being to what other people say or do. Self-indulgence means tying it to the things that happen to you. Sanity means tying it to your own actions. You must kill the part of you that is waiting for a savior. No one is coming. No one is going to wake you up. No one is going to force you to the gym. No one is going to write the business plan for you. The white knight is not coming. The lottery ticket is not coming. You are the rescue team. This realization causes a specific type of existential dread. It is the vertigo of absolute responsibility. If your life is a mess, it is your mess. If you are alone, it is your doing. If you are weak, it is your choice. This hurts. It burns. Good. Let it burn. Because the fire of that realization cauterizes the wound of victimhood. Once you accept that you are the problem, you also realize that you are the solution. As long as the problem is out there, you are powerless. If the problem is in here, you are omnipotent. Stop hoping. Start executing. Replace the word hope with the word intent. I don't hope I get up early. I intend to. I don't hope I finish the project. I intend to. Intent changes the physiology of the brain. Intent bridges the gap between the thought and the action. Hope widens it. Kill the hoper. Birth the strategist. Ryan Holiday wrote, "Ego is the enemy." And in many contexts, he is right. But in the war of you versus you, we need nuance. Unchecked ego is the enemy. It makes you think you are better than you are, so you don't practice. It makes you think you are too good for the small work. But a dissolved ego is also useless. You need an ego to get out of bed. You need an ego to believe you can conquer the impossible. The trick is not to kill the ego, but to subjugate it. You need to separate validation ego from performance ego. Validation ego asks, do they like me? Do I look cool? Am I special? This is the weakness. This is the part of you that crumbles when you get a negative comment. This is the part of you that quits when the views are low. Kill this part. It is a parasite feeding on the opinions of sheep. Performance ego states, I'm capable of mastering this. I hold myself to a standard higher than anyone else could expect. This is a strength. You need enough arrogance to believe you can be great and enough humility to know you aren't there yet. This is a paradox of the outlier. You must look in the mirror and think, I am the absolute best, and simultaneously, I am a piece of trash who needs to work harder. Hold these two opposing thoughts. At the same time, the I am the best belief protects you from the doubts of the world. The I need to work belief protects you from complacency. If you only have the first, you become a delusional narcissist. If you only have the second, you become a depressed defeatist. Combine them. I am a king, but I labor like a peasant. This is the internal dynamic of the winner. You treat yourself with self-respect, but you drive yourself with ruthless demand. Do not let your ego drive the car, but let it sit in the passenger seat and read the map. Let it tell you where you are going, but do not let it touch the steering wheel when you hit a pothole. The ultimate referee in the fight of you versus you is time. And time is not neutral. Time is a predator stalking you. Most people live as if they have infinite time. This is the greatest lie of the beast. The beast tells you there's always tomorrow. You can start next year. You're still young. Seneca wrote on the shortness of life 2,000 years ago. He said it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. We are dying every day. Every day you waste fighting yourself is a day you have deducted from your total. You are not spending time. You are spending your life. To win the internal war, you must weaponize your own mortality. This is Memento Mori. Remember, you must die. This is not morbid. It is clarifying. When you realize that your death is approaching at a constant speed, the petty internal conflicts stop mattering. Do you really have time to be insecure? Do you really have time to worry about what people think? Do you really have time to procrastinate? You do not. Imagine you are on your deathbed. You are 90 years old. You are taking your last breaths. And standing around your bed are the ghosts of the ideas, the dreams, and the abilities that were given to you but that you never acted on. They are standing there looking at you with angry eyes. They say, we came to you and only you could have given us life, and now we must die with you forever. That is the nightmare. That is the hell that the theologians talk about. Hell is not a place of fire. Hell is meeting the version of yourself you could have been and realizing you are strangers. Use this fear. Fear is a powerful motivator, but fear of failure is weak. Fear of regret is the ultimate weapon. When you are arguing with yourself about doing the work, flash forward to the end, look at the grave. Ask yourself, if today was the last chance I had to make this move, would I do it? The answer is always yes. So do it. Lie with the urgency of a man with a gun to his head, because the gun is real. It's just that the trigger is pulled by the slow decay of time. Don't let the soft voice of comfort talk you into a grave of mediocrity. So how do we operationalize this? How do we win the fight daily? You need to create an anti-self. If your current self is lazy, anxious, and distracted, you cannot just try harder. You need to construct a character that is the opposite. Beyoncé created Sasha Fierce to perform on stage. David Goggins created Goggins to destroy David. Kobe Bryant created the Black Mamba. This is not schizophrenia. This is strategy. Define the enemy. Write down the traits of the loser. He sleeps in. He scrolls TikTok for 2 hours. He seeks approval. He eats garbage. Now invert it. Create the winner. He wakes up at 4 a.m. He produces. He doesn't consume. He doesn't give a damn about opinions. He treats his body like a machine. When you feel the conflict rising, ask, what would the anti-self do? Then step into the avatar. It is acting. Fake it until you become it. When you put on the gym clothes, you are putting on the costume of the anti-self. When you sit at the desk, you are stepping into the role of the architect. There is a concept in psychology called enclawed cognition. It means that what you wear changes how you think. If you stay in your pajamas, you think like a sleeper. If you dress like a killer, you think like a killer. Curate your environment to trigger the anti-self. Do not trust your willpower. Willpower is a battery and it runs out. Trust your identity. Identity is perpetual. You don't have to force yourself to be who you are. Shift the identity from I am trying to quit smoking to I am not a smoker. Shift from I am trying to run to I am a runner. The fight ends when the identity shifts. There are 2 types of peace you can find in this life. One is the peace of surrender. This is when you stop fighting the internal war because you gave up. You let the beast win. You let the comfort win. You sit on the couch, sedated, numb, and at peace. but it is the peace of the graveyard. It is the quiet of a soul that has already died. It is a rutting peace. The other is the peace of the victor. This is a peace you feel when you have fought the war, slaughtered the demons, and stand in the center of your own mind as the undisputed king. It is the peace of the garden. It is a cultivated peace. It requires constant maintenance. It requires pulling weeds. It requires guarding the gates. But it is alive. It is vibrant. You versus you. This fight never truly ends. You don't win it once and retire. You have to win it every single morning. The moment you open your eyes, the bell rings. The beast is waiting. The judge is waiting. They are ready to pull you down. Are you ready to pull them up? To win this fight is to win everything. If you can conquer your own impulses, you can conquer any market. If you can conquer your own fear, you can conquer any enemy. If you can conquer your own need for validation, you can conquer any negotiation. The world is soft. The world is distracted. The world is fighting itself and losing. If you are the one man who has stopped fighting himself and started leading himself, you will walk through this world like a hot knife through butter. There is no competition for the man who has already defeated the mirror. The war is on. The enemy is in the room with you right now. He is listening to this video with you. He is telling you, this is a cool video. We'll start tomorrow. Turn to him. Look him in the eye and tell him, no, we start now. But be careful. As you begin to win this war, as you begin to kill the old self, you will notice something disturbing. People around you will stop liking you. They will call you obsessed. They will call you changed. They will try to pull you back into the bucket. Why? Because your victory shines a light on their defeat. Your self-mastery reminds them of their slavery. You will have to make a choice. Do you want to be loved by the slaves, or do you want to be feared by the free? That is a darkness we haven't even touched yet. The darkness of isolation. If this opened your eyes, understand this is only what I can show publicly. There are videos I cannot upload for everyone. There are aspects of dark psychology that I simply cannot discuss publicly on YouTube without being censored or demonetized. The algorithm suppresses the most powerful information. Those exist behind the join button. If you're still here, you're not like the others. Subscribe if you haven't. But if you want what's hidden, click the join button and step into the architect level. You will unlock exclusive, uncensored videos that dive into the deepest parts of the human psyche. Most won't. That's the point.